Friends, today we will talk about what's going on in Hong Kong and what will be the consequences of the draft legislation which People's Republic of China is about to bring. Already they are having their National People's Congress, which is considered as Parliament of China, and they have drafted a legislation for law, and definitely it will become a law because they have approved it. The Parliament, the National People's Congress has approved it, and once it is approved and once it is passed, and it is going to pass, because right now the administration there in Hong Kong is, you can say, a puppet of Beijing, and within a couple of months there will be elections, and Beijing also knows that in this election pro-democratic forces are going to win, and once they get the seats such type of legislation, they will take their veto, and so China won't be able to pass it. So China is in a rush to pass such acts, and once these acts are passed, you can bet with me that there will be no democracy left in Hong Kong. There will be no freedom of speech left in Hong Kong. There will be no freedom of press left in Hong Kong. And you can bet on this also, that people of Hong Kong are going to come on streets. There will be huge protests. Last year also we saw there were huge protests, and it was due to China put forward a legislation which was that any person who is undergoing any type of judicial inquiry can be shifted from Hong Kong to the mainland China, and everybody knows that in mainland China there are kangaroo courts. So people of Hong Kong were really furious. They came on in counts of millions on the streets of Hong Kong, and the Beijing was actually pressurized to shelf that legislation. But what happened, even after Beijing shelved it, people's demand was pro-democratic rights. They started asking for accountability of Hong Kong police, because Hong Kong police dealt with those people with very heavy hand. Not only rubber bullets were fired, tear gases were fired, but also live ammunition were fired. So many people were taken prisoners, they were beaten up. So people were asking and protesting for accountability of the police of Hong Kong under the regime of communist regime of China. So but then came coronavirus. Because of coronavirus there was social distancing and lockdowns all over the world, so that people's movement subsided. But as the things are becoming normal, they are approaching normal, people have once again started gathering on the streets asking for their democratic rights and also accountability of the Hong Kong police. Now since China has put forward a new legislature, and this legislature will make it almost impossible for the people of Hong Kong to come on the streets to put anti-China slogans or any type of you can say any type of difference of opinion other than the Beijing. Against Beijing won't be entertained, and even there will be censorship of press like it is in the mainland China, though it won't be a written censorship, but self-censorship will come into being because of the legislation. Definitely it is going to target many people, including the journalists or the pro-democratic people, those voices who are fighting for their democratic right, and they have all the right, because Hong Kong was a colony of Great Britain till 1997, and it was given by the Great Britain to China on condition that for another 50 years China will maintain a democratic setup there in Hong Kong. China will allow the freedom of speech, and Hong Kong will be having its own mini constitution, and it will be a semi-autonomous region. But now, since China has grown in power, it has started putting its grip on the entire system of Hong Kong and the mechanism by which the Hong Kong governs itself, and the people are resisting against that. And this was the idea actually, one country, two system was the idea which was put forward by Deng Xiaoping, and Deng Xiaoping was actually the mastermind behind this one nation two system, as well as the bringing of Macau and Hong Kong under the fold of China, mainland China. So it looks that once the demonstration takes place, and they are bound to take place because people will oppose this legislation, and China, when it will handle them with a rough hand, with iron fist of the communist regime, then definitely it will give more approval to the Taiwanese take, that what Taiwanese believe in, that one nation two system is not possible under the present regime. And this is a fact, because what I call it as the communist regime of China, it's the most refined regressive political machinery in the world. So how can they follow that type of system? So the view of the Taiwan, it will be more internationalized, and after that you can see that you will find that Trump administration will be in a grave pressure to take action, financial action against China. Already we are seeing that relationship between United States and Beijing are in a state of free fall. It doesn't look like it's 2020. It's look like more and more it's becoming like 1948, when the Cold War started between Soviet Union and United States on the issue of Berlin. It's looking like the same. Now the Cold War Part 2 has started between Washington and Beijing, and due to bipartisan pressure on the Trump administration, he may be forced to even re-evaluate the policy of special grant of special trading rights to Hong Kong, because it is considered as semi-autonomous region under one country two systems, and due to which China is having a lot of benefit. So Trump may have to re-evaluate this system also, and Mike Pompeo some days back, he has given the hint for the same. So I think Trump will have to reevaluate, and if they withdraw that act, that special which grants special rights to and special status to Hong Kong, China will suffer economically, because what was happening, that despite of all the sanctions, those sanctions of America were not levied upon Hong Kong, because it is considered as a separate individual territory. So what was that? What China was playing? They were trading from Hong Kong, and when they were trading from Hong Kong, all those sanctions won't be there. So definitely, I think that Trump administration will be in a great pressure to re-evaluate the status of special status given to the Hong Kong, and I think that even with all these circumstances, those people who are foreigners who have invested heavily in Hong Kong because of its international status of the city, business status of the city, and other rich people of Hong Kong as well, they will look for politically stable nearby islands. It may be Thailand, it may be Taiwan, it may be Singapore, and business will go out of Hong Kong. And that's the reason I think this may be an end to the international status of the Hong Kong.